strength and find peace. Bethesda Temple, the home of grace.
It's time for us to lay aside unprofitable work.
Good morning. Welcome to the Home of Grace. Have you ever had a very important appointment and missed it because you overslept? I think that's a universal experience. We've all overslept and missed something that we really wanted to make. Well, today in our message, we're going to talk about an appointment that you just cannot miss. And we're going to give you your wake-up call. Why don't you join us? Give us a listen. I think you'll be blessed.
Someone once said, "This is the age of the enchanted ground. He who can go through this age and not sleep must have something more than mortal about him. God must be with him, keeping him awake." One cannot tarry long in the soporific atmosphere of this time without feeling that in spiritual things he or she grows lax. We have to realize that we are living in a lax age. This is an age that is lax in doctrine, in spiritual instruction, in true teaching. We may learn about the Bible, but I wonder how much we really learn of the Word of God. We may learn certain principles, but I wonder how many God-ordained precepts are grasped and then lived by people of this age. This is an age that is lax in principles. Oh, it's quiet in here. But let me tell you something that I heard a long time ago. You have to be a person of principles. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. This is an age that has grown lax in morals. No commentary necessary. And sadly, this is an age lax and lacking in spiritual fervor. In short, this is an age that is lax and lacking in everything holy and everything decent. And regrettably, the laxness of this age has begun to creep into the church. It seems that our passion is gone. It seems that our burdens, and I'm not talking about the ones that you take to the Lord and leave them there, but our burdens to do the will of God are gone. There was a time when we talked about having a burden to do certain things in the house of God. I don't hear that very much anymore, but I have asked the Lord to return burdens to this house. I want more than passion. Let me tell you something. Passion comes and passion goes. You can have a passion for one thing today and not have it tomorrow, but there's something about a burden that will tug at you and nag at you and pull at you until you do what the burden tells you to do. Many of us in the church have been lulled to sleep. And if you're here and you're sleeping, this is your wake-up call. Somebody just nudge your neighbor and tell them, wake up. In our text, Paul writes to the Romans and to us with a profound sense of urgency. He sounded an alarm with these words of warning. Listen again. And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us cast off the works of darkness. Let us put on the armor of light. My. These words of Paul, if read correctly, are as startling as any alarm or buzzer, and they are intended to be so. Paul warned us that we have no time to lose. He told us that we have no time to waste. And we certainly have no time for spiritual napping. This is a wake-up call to the people of God. Paul is saying, you know what time it is. It is not going to take you by surprise. You also know what your duty is. And for those of you who don't know, let me make it perfectly clear what Paul is speaking of. When Paul spoke of knowing the time, he was making reference to a particular season. Mind you, he was not referring to winter, spring, summer, or fall. No, he spoke of a special, critical, strategic period of time. The word that he used in Greek was kairos. And this is a specific and strategic season which is placed in the stream of chronological time. It is an eternal moment deposited in temporal time continuum. And he's saying you have to recognize this time that is coming to. What he was alluding to was a time that had a character of its own and is not characterized by the zeitgeist, the prevailing spirit or attitude of the time. Paul speaks of a time within this sphere of time, and it is full of significance to those to whom he wrote, to us. Paul is speaking of a specific time, and if you haven't caught my drift yet,